want to get back to the topic of tonight's debate and to present to you clear evidence why Muhammad is a prophet of Deuteronomy 18:18. So as we can see, there is a victorious argument which is fomenting. Now, we saw that Muhammad and Moses were great warrior prophets, not just any warrior prophet, but they were successful warrior prophets. We saw that they were both theocrats. We saw that they both conquered the Holy Lands. And so we see many of these similarities. Now, I want to also tell you that what does it mean to be like somebody? Now, if you notice all the thing about raping and right hands possessed, sorry guys, I'm going to put that on the back burner. I got to get to the topic here. You see, it's very important what it means to be like somebody. When you want to be like somebody, it means you match them intrinsically. Intrinsically meaning something special about that person. Like Donald Trump, he has that talent of making $1 billion in the real estate industry. Now, if I had that, I could say I'm like Donald Trump. And so if you look at all of those similarities, conquering the Holy Lands, being this great warrior prophet, these are intrinsic characteristics versus something like they were both Jews or they both didn't eat pork or they both ate lamb. These are things which are commonalities or similarities which you can find in many people. So that's why I thought it was very important to point out. And so why this is important is because if you look at Jesus, who he was, Jesus doesn't have any intrinsic quality with Moses, which once again disproves the New Testament. Now, let me walk that back a little bit. There are some intrinsic qualities between Jesus and Moses. But Muhammad had those same ones. So if you subtract those out, what you are left with is nothing. And that's my challenge for Sam Shamoun. Show me one intrinsic quality or attribute between Jesus and Moses which make them similar, and you will never be able to find that. There's only one man who matches Moses intrinsically like what I've shown you, and that's Muhammad.
Okay, Lord willing, I'll come back to his shameless butchering, Numbers 31. He lied like his prophet did. It didn't say what he said, that they were molested, but he's a liar like his prophet. And if he keeps complaining to me about abusing him, I'm going to quote what his filthy prophet said to people, how he abused them and cursed them. But now, let me bury Nadir with his prophet. He wants similarities, right? Notice the coward never went to Deuteronomy 34, 10 to 12 to show us what it means to be like Moses. And here, where we're going to now hold funeral services for Allah and his messenger. Deuteronomy 34, 10 to 12. And there has not arisen a prophet since in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. One criterion, know God face to face. None like him for all the signs and wonders that the Lord sent him to do in the land of Egypt. So the two criteria to be like Moses, speak to God face to face and do miracles like Moses, right? When he sent to Pharaoh all his servants to all his land, and for all the mighty power and all the great deeds of terror that Moses did in the sight of Israel. Now get ready to be buried with your prophet Nadir. Number one, quote to us a single verse in the Quran where Allah appeared to Muhammad in a cloud and spoke to him face to face. Exodus 24, verses 9 to 18. Exodus 24, verses 9 to 18. Exodus 33, 7 to 11. It says, the true God came down in a cloud and spoke to Moses as he entered the cloud and spoke to him face to face as a man speaks to his friend. Matthew 17, 5, Nadir. Jesus on the Mount of Transfiguration. The cloud comes down in front of Jesus with Peter, James, and John, and Moses and Elijah, and they heard a voice from the cloud saying, this is my son whom I love, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. So first challenge, show that your filthy prophet is like Moses in the way that Deuteronomy says he has to be like Moses. Quote a single hadith or Quran where your false God, Allah, appeared in a cloud in front of multitudes of people, in front of Abu Bakr and Umar, and they heard his voice like God did for Moses and the Father did for Jesus. Secondly, show us the miracles that Muhammad did that are similar to Moses. And I hope you're stupid enough to bring up the splitting the moon, because I'm going to split your brain cells if you do. I want you to show us where Muhammad did any miracle similar to Moses. When chapter 28, verse 48 of your fake Quran, it says, the people asked your fake prophet, how come signs are not given him like they were given to Moses? So even the people at Muhammad's time knew your quack prophet didn't have any signs like Moses. But Jesus, on the other hand, much like Moses, did many signs and wonders, all of which your fake Quran confirms. For example, in chapter 3, verse 49 of your fake Quran, Jesus fashions a bird from clay, breathes into it, and it comes to life. Jesus gave sight to the blind, cleansed lepers, gave life to the dead, none of which your fake prophet could do, all of which is identical to your fake God in the Quran. So Jesus is not just like Moses, he's like your fake God.
All right. Thank you, Sam. Time's up.
Yeah. So as I said, you were not able to defend the scientific error of the Bible. He never told us tonight, why must these children have to suffer? What sense does that make? So when he was attacking the story about the divorce and remarriage, which actually is a red herring, it doesn't prove anything in terms of who that prophet of Deuteronomy 18:18 is. Just your personal interpretation here is. But notice how he has ran away from that. He has ran away from the similarities which are based on fact between Moses and Muhammad. And now, remember, I told you in the beginning, never will the Christian present to you fact. Never. They'll only present to you personal interpretations, zigzagging across Bible verses. The Bible means this, and the Bible means that, and the Bible says this, and the Bible says that. But when you actually go back and look, you will see it is nothing explicitly written. I will challenge you here tonight. Muhammad actually does pass Deuteronomy 34. I want to make it very clear that when we talked about Deuteronomy 18:18, that God will send a prophet like Moses, is it explicitly written in the Bible that Deuteronomy 34 is some criteria for the prophet of Deuteronomy 18:18? Can you take 10 seconds of my time, Sam, and answer that question? Is it explicitly written like that?
You want him right now?
Go take 10 seconds of my time. Is it really written?
I'm not stopping it, so
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, very easy, because again, you can't answer, so you're resorting to stupidity.
Okay.
Can I read it? Or are you going to bark?
Go ahead, Sam.
Stop going, because it's disgusting. Stop licking the black stone and going. Now, listen, here it is. Deuteronomy 34. And there has not arisen a prophet since in Israel like Moses. So there's the exact words, a prophet like Moses. So yes, it's right there because it says, I'm going to raise a prophet like you. So in the same book, it says, here's what a prophet like Moses is. So you just got buried. Go back to your rebuttal so then I can come and bury you.
Go ahead.
And that's my point. What Christians present to you is not in the Bible. You see, nowhere is it explicitly written that Deuteronomy 34 is some kind of test or some criteria for the prophet of Deuteronomy 18:18. This is their false interpretation. Well, I can't say it's a false interpretation. Hypothetically, it could be possible, but it's not written. And so this is very important. Everything I present to you will be explicitly written. Now let's read the passage over there again. So, and there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses. Who are they talking about? It's talking about Joshua. Joshua was a warrior prophet. Thank you, which is exactly like Muhammad, whom the Lord knew face to face. So now what Sam did, he spun this to make it, what you have to see God face to face. So now what we are dealing with is an interpretation of the Bible. We are 2 levels deep of personal interpretations. So you had the first interpretation, whether this was some type of criteria for Deuteronomy 18:18. Well, maybe not. That's an interpretation. The second interpretation, whom the Lord knew face to face, really means.
Okay. All right, Sam.
Okay, now before you time me, I want cross-X because this guy's a joke. He's not answering anything, and I want to bury him in cross-X. So make sure we do cross-examination. Okay?
Dude, I got to go take my heart medicine first, but okay.
This guy, he's already being humiliated like a clown, and I want to embarrass his prophet. But make sure you do cross-X so he can stop barking. But now, let me destroy his falsehood again. He keeps on about children. I guess he didn't hear me. When your filthy religion allows you to divorce your wives at whim and have up to 4 wives, show me the studies, what it says about a man with multiple wives having multiple children exposed to multiple women as their mother and the damage it does on them psychologically. And in your filthy religion, you can divorce a woman at will. There are no restrictions, which means that you're doing greater damage to these kids, especially if you marry a 9-year-old minor and violator like your filthy prophet did. But let's come back to the issue. I don't know how he spun Deuteronomy 34:10-12. Let me read it again. And there has not arisen a prophet since in Israel like Moses. Oh, that's Joshua, warrior prophet. I don't know where he got Joshua here. Let's read it again. There has not risen a prophet since in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face, none like him for all the signs and the wonders that the Lord did. So he keeps spinning it, but he got buried with his prophet because he can't get around this. And he says, well, seeing God face to face means seeing God actually. I didn't make that up. Here it is, Exodus 33:7-11. Now Moses used to take the tent and pitch it outside the camp, far off from the camp, and he called it the tent of meeting. And everyone who sought the Lord would go out to the tent of meeting, which was outside the camp. Whenever Moses went out to the tent, all the people would rise up, and each would stand at his tent door and watch Moses until he had gone into the tent. When Moses entered the tent, the pillar of cloud would descend and stand at the entrance of the tent. The Lord would speak with Moses. Verse 11. Thus the Lord used to speak to Moses face to face as a man speaks to his friend. You got buried, Nadir, so let me repeat my challenge again. Show us in your Quran or Hadith, Allah coming in a cloud, speaking face to face with Muhammad, like he did with Moses, like the Father did with Jesus. Show us the miracles of Muhammad that resemble Moses, because that's the criteria, and no whining and no like a silly stone kisser is going to deny those facts. You got buried. Hopefully you do better. Anytime you go off topic, I'm going to embarrass you. And let me know when I can do cross-X to further embarrass this guy.
He is conceding tonight that the Bible contradicts modern science. He knows that if people really took Matthew, I forget the passage, 10:32 or something, about only divorces in the case of adultery or death, that will cause the children to suffer needlessly. But he says, but your Quran, your Islam is also same thing, because it has polygamy. It has all these things, but he's never really presented any studies showing that polygamy causes dangers or anything. He's just, once again, remember he can never present facts. The whole Christian presentation, whether you're talking about Aisha, it's all personal interpretations.